In this movie, I'm going to demonstrate an app I really like, one of my favorites, called TangledFX. It's available for iPhone and iPad. I use it on both. Today I'm demoing it with an iPad, actually an iPad that's about to go dead soon. So I'm going to launch it. I love this app, but I like to use it with the effects cut back a little bit. So I either lower the settings, and I'll show you how to do that, or I bring it into another application that has layers, and I apply perhaps the original photo on a layer with a blending mode, or I try a couple different apps and bring it in to just kind of get back some of the detail that I've lost. So the first thing I'm going to do in here is click the little gear at the top left corner. This is the most important thing to start with, because that very first question, use advanced effects settings, is turned off by default, and I want that on. So that's a good thing to turn on. Next, if you go about halfway down where it says image size, it's asking you if you want to use a preview. That means it's going to save a low-res preview of your file instead of the real full size. I'm going to leave that on for now because I'll show you how you can change that on the fly in the application. I'm going to click back, go up and open a photo. So Tangled will build the photo, the effect, based on the last filter that I was using. So in this particular case, it's using one that was called Small Details that I was working with. But I'm going to scroll through the filters at the bottom and just pick one. This one is called Brush Strokes. That's kind of cool. Now, I did lose a little detail in the face. I think the bushes look kind of cool, but if I wanted to try to cut back a little bit on this, I click the words Fine Tune. And then here are all the settings, and again I have access to these because I turned that on in that little gear in the upper left hand corner. So I could cut back on the effect here, I can bump up the color boost, increase contrast, whatever I want, and then click the word render at the bottom to have it rebuild with those settings. I would like a bigger button. I think the word render is a little hard to click with my thumb, but hopefully they'll add that eventually. And then when you're done, you can just close that and take a look at it. I think that looks really cool. It almost looks like a plastic wrap effect, but it's very, very cool. If it's too much, you can go back into your settings and cut it back a little bit more. Lots of different filters in here that you can apply. I'll show you a couple of the other ones. So here's one called Bloom. Again, that one's a little much for me, but I could go back in here. Even just cutting back on the amount of effect makes a big difference. So it still has that cool effect, but it's a little bit less so. That one's a nice one. I like that one. Okay, so I can double click to zoom in on it. And then I'm just going to go back out here and open another image. I really like how these flowers turned out. So this one I used what was called Small Details, but if you think it's too much, actually in this particular case I had applied a different effect on top of it. Let me go back and bring up the original photo. So here's the original. And I can go in here and start applying effects. So that one's called the dark side. Here's one called the light side. Very nice effects. So again, that might be a little too much for me. I click fine tune. I can go in here and make some adjustments, maybe cut back on the scaling factor, maybe increase the contrast a little bit, something like that. Do some amazing things. So when you're ready to save this photo, all you do is click that little button at the top, the right-hand button. It gives you the option to save it out. Now, I did mention that if you look at the top, it's saving in a preview. It's saving a low-res preview. If you just simply click on that word preview, it'll save it to full size. So first, when you click full size, it re-renders it on the screen, and then you can click the little share button when it's finished. And now you have the option of saving it to your photo library. You can save it right out to social media, and you can open it in another app if you like. So this is a great little app that I love, and it's called TangledFX.